Hello and welcome to Mastermind with me, Clive Myrie. In the spotlight tonight are Richard Saunders, a vet. He'll be answering questions on the culture novels of Iain M Banks. Constance Cooper, a primary school teacher whose specialist subject is Alan Partridge. Rakesh Sharma, an MBA student. His subject is the celebrated Indian actress Madhuri Dixit and Fiona Denby. An administration officer. Her subject, English wine in the 21st century. The key to surviving a grilling on Mastermind is to stay cool, to be like the Fonz, allowing nothing to trouble you, not the clock, the spotlight, or even the black chair. But who among tonight's contenders is able to withstand 2 minutes of questions on a specialist subject and 2.5 minutes on general knowledge? It really will be happy days for the winner because they'll go through to the semi-finals. So, can I ask our first contender to join us, please? Your name?
Richard Saunders.
Your occupation?
Vet.
And your specialist subject?
The culture novels of Iain M Banks.
The series of science fiction novels set in and around a highly advanced spacefaring society known as the culture. In 2 minutes, here we go. In the first culture novel, consider Fleabas, a sentient spaceship computer known as a mind, takes refuge in some ancient tunnels on which planet?
Shah's world.
Yes, during the Ideran culture war, the Iderans are joined in combat by what other tripedal species who distrust the growing power of the culture?
The Homomdans.
Yes, in the player of games, Jernau Morat Gergely is a revered game player who accepts an offer from Contact, a special division within the culture, to take part in what complex game?
Azad.
Yes, the starship Xenophobe, on which the culture representative Diziet Smar travels in use of weapons, is a picket or demilitarized rapid offensive unit of what class?
Scree.
No, torturer. In Accession, a mysterious black sphere is investigated by a group of ship minds who refer to themselves by what 3-word name?
The Interesting Times Gang.
Yes, in the 2008 novel Matter, what's the name of the Earl from Shilda who informs Prince Orriman of the deaths of his father and older brother in battle?
Earl Winthrop.
No, Droffo. What name is given to the Battle of the Ideran War, which caused the astronomical event that the inhabitants of Mazak gathered to watch 803 years later in Look to Windward?
The Battle of the Twin Novae?
Yes. The 1998 novel Inversions is told in 2 parallel narratives, one of which, entitled The Bodyguard, has a narrator who states, I have chosen to tell the story after the fashion of the Geritic fabulists, that is, in the form of a what?
Poem?
No, close chronicle. What's the name of the Taurus-shaped mansion belonging to Joyler Veppers, the wealthy businessman, and villain in the penultimate culture novel, Surface Detail?
The Penumbra.
No, Aspersium. The final book of the culture series, The Hydrogen Sonata, takes its title from a piece of classical music that's said to be almost impossible to play and not much easier to listen to, written by which fictional composer?
T.C. Vilabia.
Yes, while visiting the Empire of Azad, Gergely is taught how to play the game of Elements. Of study so finish. Taught how to play the game of Elements, in which blade cuts cloth, cloth wraps stone, stone dams water, water quenches fire, and fire does what?
Burn.
No, melts blade. Richard, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 6 points.
Thank you.
And our next contender, please. Your name?
Constance Cooper.
Your occupation?
Primary school teacher.
And your specialist subject?
Alan Partridge.
The fictional television and radio presenter played by Steve Coogan. In 2 minutes, here we go. On the television chat show Knowing Me, Knowing You, Partridge accidentally shoots the restaurant critic Forbes McAllister with a dueling pistol that had previously belonged to which romantic poet?
Lord Byron.
Yes, what band does Partridge introduce on his Mid-Morning Matters radio show by saying that their name perfectly describes the local council's proposal to build affordable housing on Greenbelt land?
Coldplay.
No, madness. Partridge has 2 framed photos on a chest of drawers in his room at the Linton Travel Tavern. One is of Jet from Gladiators, the other is of which actor?
Roger Moore?
Yes, in the opening scene of the film Alpha Papa, Alan Partridge poses the question on his North Norfolk digital radio show, which is the worst monger, fish, iron, rumour, or which other?
War.
Yes. While presenting a racing preview on The Day Today, what's the two-word name of the horse that Partridge says is well known for its sense of humour?
Pass.
After telling his Ukrainian girlfriend Sonia that he knows Bono, Partridge pretends that the singer owns which National Trust stately home?
Blickling.
Yes, Blickling Hall. In the first episode of the chat show, Knowing Me, Knowing You, what's the name of the house band led by Glenn Ponder, which has a different name in each subsequent programme?
Glenn Ponder and Chalet.
Yes, when meeting the BBC Commissioner Tony Hayers to discuss his future, Partridge suggests various ideas for new programmes, including Inner City Sumo, Youth Hosteling with Chris Eubank, and Arm Wrestling with whom?
Chaz and Dave.
Yes, what's the name of the French chef, played by Patrick Marber, to whom Partridge says that he prefers to use stick deodorant as the roll-on variety traps your hairs?
Philippe Lambert.
Yes, what film does Partridge say that he watched in his hotel room while the Knowing Me, Knowing You band and guests went to the Folies Bergère without telling him the night before the Paris special episode?
Oh, pass.
Partridge tells This Time viewers that the footage of him at a monastery has been sped up as BBC guidelines prohibit on-air silences of more than 30 seconds, except for during state funerals. And what other programme?
Mastermind.
No, it's Springwatch. Good try, though. And at the end of that round, Constance, you had the two passes. The film that Partridge says he watched in his hotel room while everyone else went off to the Folies Bergère, The Poseidon Adventure. And the racing preview on The Day Today, the two-word name of the horse that Partridge says is well known for its sense of humour, Platitude Queen. So at the end of that round, you've got 7 points. Our next contender, please. Your name.
Rakesh Sharma.
Your occupation.
MBA student.
And your specialist subject.
Madhuri Dixit.
The Bollywood star and philanthropist who's appeared in more than 70 Hindi films over a 40-year career. In 2 minutes, let's go. Madhuri Dixit is popularly known by what nickname which represents the sound of a heartbeat in reference to a song she performed in the 1992 film Beta?
Thak Thak Girl.
Yes. As a child, Dixit won a scholarship to study what style of dance, one of India's 8 classical dance forms, which she has said that she started learning at the age of 3.
Kathak.
Yes, while still at school in Mumbai, Dixit made her screen debut in what 1984 film in which she played a young woman in the early days of an arranged marriage?
Abodh.
Yes, Dixit married the Indian-American heart surgeon Sri Ram Nene in 1999 and moved from India to which city in Florida, where they lived for 2 years before relocating to Denver, Colorado?
Gainesville.
Yes, following the birth of her first son, Arin, in 2003. Dixit didn't appear in any films for several years until she made her comeback, starring as the choreographer Dia Srivastav in what 2007 film?
Aja Nachle.
Yes, Dixit had her first major television acting role when she starred in what 2022 Netflix series, playing the fictional Bollywood star Anamika Anand.
The Fame Game.
Yes, in the Hindi language release of the 2018 Hollywood film Mowgli, Legend of the Jungle. Based on Rudyard Kipling's Jungle Book stories, Dixit provides the voice of a wolf character with what name?
Nisha.
Yes, in 2010, Dixit made her first appearance as a member of the judging panel on an Indian television dancing competition with what Hindi title?
Chalak Dikhla Ja.
Yes, after a string of box office failures, Dixit had her first major commercial success with what 1988 film, in which she stars as a nightclub dancer and danced to the hit song Ek Do Teen.
Tezab.
Yes, what's the two-word title of the touring stage show fronted by Dixit's regular collaborator Shah Rukh Khan, in which she participated in 2013 and performed songs from various Bollywood films?
Temptations. Unloaded.
No, Temptation Reloaded. In 2011, shortly before returning to live in India, Dixit, I've started so I'll finish. To live in India, Dixit served as a goodwill ambassador for which Indian charity project in which jewellery was auctioned to raise money for wildlife conservation?
Emeralds for Elephants.
It is Emeralds for Elephants. Rakesh, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 10 points. And our final contender, please. Your name.
Fiona Denby.
Your occupation?
Administration Officer.
And your specialist subject?
English wine in the 21st century.
The history and evolution of winemaking in England from 2000 to the present. In 2 minutes, let's go. Which white grape, used to make a classic cuvée sparkling wine, is one of the most planted varieties in English vineyards?
Chardonnay.
Yes, in 2022, which English wine region became the first to be granted protected designation of origin by the Department of Food and Rural Affairs?
Sussex.
Yes, what's the name of the head winemaker at Nightimber, who became the first person outside Champagne and the first woman to be crowned Winemaker of the Year at the 2018 International Sparkling Wine Challenge?
Cherry Spriggs.
Yes, at the official opening of which new winery in 2016 did the wine expert Oz Clarke say there's every chance that in the next generation the greatest sparkling wines will be made here in Kent?
Chapeldown.
No, Simpsons. Which grape, with high sugar levels and low acidity, is a cross between Merlot and Ziga and is used in Biddenden Vineyard's signature wine as well as Denby's Noble Harvest?
Sauvignon Blanc.
No, Ortega. In 2017, which Cornish winery was granted protected designation of origin for Bacchus wine produced from grapes grown in their Darniboll vineyards?
Camel Valley.
Yes, the Tillingham estate, established by Ben Walgate in 2018, produces natural wine using large clay fermentation vessels known by what Georgian name?
Kvevery.
Yes, the English producers Alder Ridge, Whiston Estate and Gusbourne have all won awards for which style of sparkling white wine made exclusively with black grapes?
Blanc de Noir.
Yes, at King Charles III's first state banquet in 2022, the guests were served sparkling wine from which English producer, founded by Mike and Chris Roberts in 1995?
Ridgeview.
Yes, Halfpenny Green Vineyards won a silver medal at the 2013 Decanter Wine Awards for a red wine with a 15% alcohol level, produced from which grape?
Pinot Noir.
No, Rondo. What's the name of the organic vineyard founded by Kristin Sultovic and Paul Dobson in the village of Beckley near Hastings, which sold its first rosé wine in 2015?
Biddenden.
No, Oxney. And Fiona, at the end of that round, you had no passes. You've got 7 points.
Thank you.
At the end of the specialist subjects round, let's have a look at the scores. In fourth place with 6 points is Richard. In joint second place with 7 points are Constance and Fiona. And in first place with 10 points, it's Rakesh. So now it's general knowledge. And if there's a tie at the end, then the number of passes is taken into account. And the person with the fewer passes is the winner. And if they're tied on passes as well, it's a tie break. So let's ask Richard to join us again, please. Richard, you start with 6 points. You've now got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. Following the abdication of Emperor Akihito in 2019, his son Naruhito became the new emperor of which Asian country?
Japan.
Yes, what type of sausage, usually served in thin slices, has a name derived from a Latin verb meaning to salt?
Sutra.
No, salami. Which politician was the leader of the Labour Party from 1983 until 1992, and during that time was the MP for Islwyn in South Wales?
Neil Kinnock.
Yes, in which 1885 Gilbert and Sullivan operetta does one of the characters describe himself as a wandering minstrel eye, a thing of shreds and patches?
Pirates of Penzance.
No, the Mikado. What 5-letter word is used specifically for a group or gathering of witches, traditionally 13 in number?
Coven.
Yes, in March 2024, which American singer had her 5th UK #1 album with Eternal Sunshine?
Beyonce.
No, Ariana Grande. In the novel Treasure Island, what's the name of the cheese-obsessed sailor who has been marooned on the deserted island for 3 years before the arrival of the Hispaniola?
Pass.
What word commonly used to refer to male cattle can also be applied to a male elephant, moose or whale?
Steer.
No, bull. What's the name of the goalkeeper for the England women's national football team who was voted the BBC Sports Personality of the Year for 2023?
Mary Earps.
Yes. Which city on the North Saskatchewan River is the capital of the Canadian province of Alberta?
Ontario.
No, Edmonton. Which British children's television programme that ran from 1964 to 1988 regularly featured a short film played through a round, square or arched window?
Pass.
What's the professional surname of the Scottish artist born Jack Hoggan, who painted the 1992 artwork The Singing Butler?
Pass.
The UK traffic sign bearing the word stop in white uppercase letters on a red background is what geometric shape?
Triangle.
No, octagonal. What 1930 film launched the international career of Marlene Dietrich, who played a nightclub singer named Lola Lola?
Cabaret.
No, The Blue Angel. The British musician Julian Lloyd-Webber is a virtuoso performer on what stringed instrument?
Cello.
Yes, the system of trails through Laos and Cambodia used to supply Viet Minh guerrilla fighters with military assistance during the Vietnam War was named after which communist leader?
Mao Zedong.
No, Ho Chi Minh. What's the name? I've started, so I'll finish. What's the name of the iron-rich protein that combines with oxygen to transport it through the bloodstream?
Hemoglobin.
It is hemoglobin. Richard, you had 3 passes. The professional surname of the Scottish-born artist Jack Hoggan, Vetriano. I know you know this. The round window, square window. Play school. And the name of the cheese-obsessed sailor in Treasure Island, Ben Gunn. At the end of that round, Richard, you've got 12 points.
Thank you very much.
Next up, it's Constance. Constance, you start with 7 points. The score to beat as it stands is 12 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. The name of which insect, similar to a grasshopper, is also the name of an outdoor team sport played with bats and a ball?
Cricket.
Yes, according to the lyrics of the theme song of the 1950s and 60s television drama series, which outlaw from English folklore is Riding Through the Glen?
Robin Hood.
Yes, what 4-letter term for the right to block or reject a proposal suggested by others is a Latin word meaning I forbid?
Holt.
No, veto. What 1998 animated film featuring the voices of Val Kilmer, Ralph Fiennes and Sandra Bullock retells the biblical story of Moses?
Pass.
What English name is given to the short-lived program launched by Chairman Mao in 1956 that lifted restrictions on Chinese intellectuals and encouraged constructive criticism of the Communist Party?
Pass.
In the title of a 1968 children's book by Judith Carr, what species of big cat came to tea?
Tiger.
Yes, what instrument used to detect and measure radiation is named after the German scientist who invented it in the early 20th century?
Geiger counter.
Yes, in recipe instructions, the abbreviation TBSP indicates an amount of a particular ingredient to be measured using what specific item of cutlery?
Tablespoon.
Yes, which desert in Western Australia is named after an explorer who disappeared in the 1870s while part of an expedition in the area?
Perth.
No, the Gibson Desert. Which British singer had UK #1 singles in 2000 with Fill Me In and 7 Days?
Craig David.
Yes, a small abscess on the eyelid resulting from an infection at the root of an eyelash is known by the medical term hordeolum, or by what more common name?
Stye.
Yes, which European country hosted the 2023 Men's Rugby World Cup but lost narrowly to South Africa in the quarter-finals?
Italy.
No, France. A well-known numerical sequence is named after which Italian mathematician who's credited with introducing the Arabic number system to Europe in the 13th century?
Fibonacci.
Yes. Portree is the main town on which island of the Inner Hebrides?
Orkney.
No, Skye. Which Belarusian-born French artist painted the works White Crucifixion in 1938 and Yellow Crucifixion in 1943, both depicting Christ on the cross?
Rothko.
No, Marc Chagall. Which famous jazz club in London, Soho, is named after the saxophonist who co-founded it in 1959 with his fellow musician, Pete King?
Ronnie Scott.
Yes, the headquarters of both the European Union... I've studied so I'll finish. Both the European Union and NATO are in which European capital city?
Geneva.
No, Brussels. So, Constance, you had 2 passes. The programme launched by Chairman Mao, which allowed criticism of the Communist Party, the 100 Flowers campaign. And the animated feature, Val Kilmer, Ralph Fiennes, Sandra Bullock, they were all in The Prince of Egypt.
Ah.
At the end of that round, Constance, you've got 16 points.
Thank you.
Next up, it's Fiona. Fiona, you start with 7 points. The score to beat as it stands is 16 points. You've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Here we go. The word inhale means to breathe in. What corresponding 6-letter word is its direct opposite and means to breathe out?
Exhale.
Yes, what song by Ray Parker Jr. features the repeated lyrics, "Who You Gonna Call?" and was written for a 1984 supernatural comedy film with the same title?
Ghostbusters.
Yes, in April 2024, Andrei Plenković was elected to serve a 3rd consecutive term as Prime Minister of which EU country?
Estonia.
No, Croatia. The Chicago Cubs, the Tampa Bay Rays and the Washington Nationals are professional teams in what sport?
Ice hockey.
No, baseball. In which television series, first shown in 2011, do the broadcaster Fiona Bruce and the art dealer Philip Mould aim to establish whether featured artworks are genuine?
Fake or real?
No, Fake or Fortune. Which French philosopher and author refused to accept the 1964 Nobel Prize in Literature, stating that he always declined official honours?
Descartes.
No, Sartre. Herdwick, Charolais and Jacob are breeds of what farm animal?
Sheep.
Yes, what stately home near Basingstoke has been the seat of the Dukes of Wellington since 1817, having been gifted to the first Duke by the country after his victory at the Battle of Waterloo?
Woburn.
No, Stratfield Say House. What word for a theatre originally referred to an arena for chariot racing and is derived from the Greek for horse and course?
Colosseum.
No, Hippodrome. In the 2014 film Mr. Turner and the 2019 film Mrs. Lowry and Son, the painters Turner and Lowry are portrayed by which actor?
Benedict Cumberbatch.
No, Timothy Spall. What island group and autonomous community of Spain lies around 60 miles off the west coast of Africa?
The Canaries.
Yes, in a reference to the instrument he became famous for playing, the Belfast-born musician James Galway acquired the nickname the man with the golden what?
Flute.
Yes, what name is shared by a traditional Spanish dance and the short, open-fronted jacket, also of Spanish origin, that reaches no further than the waist?
Bolero.
Yes, the dramatist Jez Butterworth and the actress Laura Donnelly were both nominated for Olivier Awards for a play premiered in London's West End in 2024 entitled The Hills of where?
Scotland.
No, California. On a standard dartboard, what high-scoring number is directly between the 3 and the 7?
19.
It is 19. Fiona, you had no passes at the end of that round. You've got 14 points.
Thank you very much.
And finally, let's have Rakesh again, please. Rakesh, you start with 10 points to score to beat to get through to the semi-finals. Is Constance's 16 points, and you've got 2.5 minutes on general knowledge. Let's go. What anatomical name is given to the many narrow-pointed parts of a comb or the sharp projections on the blade of a saw?
Epi.
No, teeth. What was the first name of the actor Daniel Day-Lewis's father, a renowned poet whose works were often published under the initials C and his surname?
Cecil.
Yes. Which metallic chemical element is present in all alloys known as amalgams?
Mercury.
Yes. In Shakespeare's Henry IV, Part 2, the king says, "Uneasy lies the head that wears a what?"
Crown.
Yes. The particle nicknamed the God particle, which was discovered at the CERN Research Laboratory in 2012, is known by what name after the British physicist who suggested its existence?
Higgs boson.
Yes. Which American composer and conductor is the subject of the 2023 biographical film Maestro, starring Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan?
Leonard Bernstein.
Yes. Which small city in northwest England, noted for its well-preserved historic castle, stands on the south bank of the estuary of the River Lune, which flows into Morecambe Bay?
Urquhart Castle.
No, Lancaster. The name of what blue pigment originally made from powdered lapis lazuli and used in painting is derived from Latin words meaning beyond the sea?
Aquamarine.
No, ultramarine. The Olympic champion Perez Jepchirchir, who won the women's elite race at the 2024 London Marathon, represents which East African country?
Eritrea.
No, Kenya. What uncooked sauce made from coriander, parsley, garlic, chili and wine vinegar is commonly used in Argentine cuisine to marinate meat?
Pojole.
No, chimichurri sauce. In the 1970s and 80s, Do You Think I'm Sexy and Baby Jane were UK #1 singles for which British singer?
Sting.
No. Rod Stewart. Kartoffel is the German word for what common vegetable?
Cabbage.
No. Potato. Which American television series, which ran from 2011 to 2020, stars Claire Danes as a CIA officer with bipolar disorder named Carrie Mathison?
Homeland.
Yes. What term derived from a Latin verb meaning to agree or come together? Is used in maths to describe geometric figures such as triangles that are identical in shape and size.
Concurrent triangles.
No. Congruent. In the abbreviated name of a well-known British musical ensemble. Founded in 1904, the letters LSO stand for what?
London Symphony Orchestra.
Yes, in the UK, the season for shooting pheasants begins on the first day of which month?
Spring.
No, October. Which English university traces its roots back to the Birmingham and Midland Institute School of Metallurgy, founded in 1875?
Loughborough.
No, Aston. Rakesh, at the end of that round, you had no passes, and you're in the semi-finals. You've done it. You've got 17 points.
Thank you.
So let's have a look at the final scores. In fourth place with 12 points is Richard. In third place with 14 points, it's Fiona. In second place with 16 points is Constance. And a whisker ahead. In first place with 17 points, it's Rakesh, which means he goes through to the semi-finals. Congratulations to him. If you'd like to be a contender in the next series, please go to our website, bbc.co.uk/mastermind, and you can follow us at Mastermind Quiz. Join us again next time for more Masterminds. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
Winning the heat of Mastermind, honestly, all of this just feels like extra cherries. Coming here was the big prize in my head, and everything that happens here onwards is just extra, so I'm really delighted.
And your specialist subject?
Madhuri Dixit. Well, my specialist subject was Madhuri Dixit, who is one of the most celebrated female actors of South Asia. That girl.
Yes.
Emeralds for Elephants.
It is Emeralds for Elephants.
She began in film, has gone on to TV, has adapted herself to all kinds of new age technologies. And she's a great example of what it means to be an aging female film star.
You've done it. You've got 17 points.
Thank you. Clive saying, you've done it, the iconic "you've done it" was such a relief because I really did think at one point that I had lost. I've been keeping an eye on the black chair for a very long time, so to be able to do it was always on my bucket list, and here we are.